Hello everybody out there. And yes, kind of, weird, I don't know. I couldn't find my bigger tripod, so trying to deal here with a smaller one. It's just not working real great. But at any rate, today I'm going to be making lotion bars. Now I made some of these and gave them away back in March at the gathering, Deep South Homestead Gathering in Mississippi. Everybody seemed to like them, and Miss Elizabeth, the bee lady apiary, wanted me to do a video on how to make these. So she sent me, oh gosh, I think she sent me it was 3 or 4, I don't remember now how many there was of them. Things of beeswax from her bees. And she wanted me to do a video on how to make this lotion. So that's what we're up to tonight. Making lotion. And this is what I'm going to use for a mold. This is just, I don't know, I guess it was a mold for Jello maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, I picked it up at the thrift store. I thought it would make handy little cute little lotion bars. Okay, so we're going to get started here. First off, Miss Bee Lady's beeswax, all shredded up. That was fairly fun. But that's okay. Yeah, it's worth it. Now this beeswax, fresh beeswax like that, is pretty strong smelling. So, and I forgot to get my spatula. That's okay. And I'm going to double this recipe. This recipe calls for 1 ounce of beeswax and 1 ounce of cocoa butter and a 1/2 ounce each of lavender and I don't know if you pronounce that calendula, or some people call it calendula, I think is how someone pronounces it. Both of these are really good for the skin. They're soothing, and of course the beeswax is soothing too. Now because this is fresh beeswax and it's pretty strong, I am going to mix it with 100% natural beeswax pastels. Or pastilles, something like that. At any rate, it's the little bitty granules you can buy. So hopefully it won't be quite so strong smelling once we're done, because I'm afraid it may interfere with the smell of our lavender. So I'm going to, that was 1 ounce of each of these different types of beeswax, so that way it'll total 2, because I'm doubling this recipe. So that'll be also 2 of the cocoa butter, which I'm just going to throw in here. This stuff is good. Feels so good on the skin. And then next we're going to put, let me set this over here for now. We need well, the recipe calls for a 1/2 ounce, so we're putting 1 ounce. And I'll tell you right now, these bottles, my kids picked these up in the fall of the year. Especially Aldi's has them. And I think some of the big lots even carry them and stuff too. I don't know about Walmart or any of those. But they got this pumpkin spice drink that was in this. I take it it's something like a apple cider. Only it's pumpkin spice flavored. But they cabbaged on their bottles so I could have them. This one, I ran out by the time I got to that one. I did several in one day, and Well, actually it takes longer than a day to do it, but we're going to put 1 ounce in here. And I'm double checking all my, oh, I should have grabbed my, I had a small one in here. This will work. I am double checking all my measurements because this is actually my second video making this. I made this last night. And of course, I made 2 batches. I made 2 double batches last night. By the time I got to the second one, it was about 2:30 in the morning, which is the one I filmed. And it ended up, I only put 1 ounce of the cocoa butter in it, which just wasn't enough. So, I'm redoing it tonight. I didn't want to put out a video that didn't have the correct measurements on it. So, don't get me wrong, it's set up and everything, but it's just not, it wasn't the correct amount. So, I am redoing it tonight. Now, I will be adding some lavender essential oil to this. However, when you're going to add essential oils to something like this, make sure you're getting 100% pure. And when you're adding essential oils to something like this, you want to melt all this down first and get it all mixed up really well first. Also, when you're done with this, you can add about a teaspoon of vitamin E, which vitamin E is also good for your skin, but it will also act as a preserver. So, you can do that once it's melted, but I would wait till after it's melted. Definitely wait till after it's melted to add any extra essential oils. Now this smells like lavender, but it's not a real strong smell. So I will add a little extra to this. And I don't have a double boiler, so I just got this off the stove. So I'm kind of making my own double boiler here by just putting water in the bottom pan and then setting this pan on top of it. Put it on very low heat. It will probably take probably around 15-20 minutes. Just depends on just how low or high you have your heat. However, you want the heat on low. It needs to melt slowly, otherwise it can and will scorch, and you don't want that. So, I will be back in just a few moments as soon as I get this over on the stove. I was going to use this, but I don't know where my extension cord went to. That's what hubbies and kids are good for. Anyway, I will be back shortly. Okay. We are back. We have everything melted. I don't know if you can see that from there or not. I'm trying to get it to where you can see everything, but that's not easy to do. Okay. Maybe that'll work a little better. Okay. We've got this all melted now. So it's time to add. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I should have grabbed a teaspoon. Vitamin E oil. We'll go ahead and add it in. As this is going to other people. So that way They may not use it up as quickly as I would. When you do a lot of gardening and stuff, my hands are pretty calloused. So I need a lot of this stuff. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add lavender. You can add the essential oils, and it doesn't have to be lavender. You can add whatever scent you like. I just like the lavender, probably the best, and so that's what I'm going to add. And I'm going to start out with about 15 drops and then test it and see if it's enough. Stir it in real good. And then I'm just going to take a little drop. This is melted, but it's not like super hot. And just rub it on my hand. Well, it's not too bad, but I think I'm going to put some more. Probably put about 10 more. Well, we'll try 5. And I think something that would be a really neat smell would be orange. Orange or lemon, either one, really. Or you could get like lemongrass or lemon verbena. Those would be great too. Try the other hand now. I'm not too sure about this one. So that's a total of 5, or 5. There's 5 more drops. It's a total of 20 drops. And that's bound to be plenty. Yeah, I think so. And all we have left to do now is get this thing out of the pan. Put it somewhere where I ain't going to make a mess. Put the lid on here. And let's get this over here just a little bit so I can turn this thing sideways. This is actually a serving spoon, but it works good for this. And we just fill them up. Now, if they don't come quite to the top, go ahead and add some more, but do it while it's still, before it starts to set up. Otherwise, it may be noticeable. But I made a mess. That's okay. Yeah, it'll wipe off. I think I'm going to be just a little bit shy here of filling the tray up. Alright, that will be a little one for me to use. Oh yeah, we're good. Alright, now all we have to do is wait for these to cool off and harden, and they will pop right out. You can set this in the refrigerator for about 10 to 15 minutes just to speed that process up a little bit. but you be careful with it. Don't forget it in there. If you do, it can collect moisture, and if it does, it can cause it to go rancid. Okay, but I think we're good for the moment, and I will bring you back once these get hardened and I get ready to take them out. You can see this one here is already starting to harden, but it's pretty shallow. It's starting to harden right around the edges. Looks almost like an egg, like the yolk of an egg. But I will bring you back as soon as these are ready to come out of this pan. Okay, we're back. And I really wish I could get this thing situated a little bit better. Well, gotta kind of sort of see my ugly mug. Alright, as you can see, these are set up now. So, I'm just gonna twist this a little bit, kind of like you would the old ice cube trays, and see if we can get them to, whoop, two popped out. Got one left. And it's gonna be a stubborn one. There it goes. Alright, now I just gotta clean this thing up. Alright, here's my little one. So let me what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Was a little one. Now, this one's not too bad, but when they come out, let me see this one. Sometimes the edges are just a little rough. All you have to do, take your hand and rub it down. It'll come off. It'll smooth out. No problems. And to use these, all you do is rub it in your hand. See that? Rub it all over your hand. Oh, it smells good. Now, one thing these are really good for, oh my gosh, elbows. If you get rough elbows, or knees, or even rough heels on your feet, really good for that. But these are good for all over your arms, your hands. I break out from the lupus, so it really helps to soothe it. Send that sucker sailing. So they really help out with that a lot because it's so soothing. What else was I going to say here? Like I said, you can use just about anything here. Now you can use the same recipe instead of putting, which really even any of this stuff, lavender, chamomile, calendula, or well, calendula, are good for the skin and even minor irritations on the skin. But you can take, which I should have got them out of the cabinet and I didn't. It's a little hard to do right now. I'd have to get the step ladder out and climb. Unfortunately, my kitchen is, it's dated to the house. So the cabinets are really super tall on it, and my dog is barking at something. What? I don't know. It's after 2 o'clock in the morning. But you can do this with, I've got other oils up there like plantain. And you can make a bar with plantain. Comfrey, I've got comfrey up there. You can also take these, instead of putting this in it, make you up some oils with mint, like peppermint. Oh, the dog outside is barking. And make you up some oil with peppers in it, hot peppers, and it would be a great lotion bar for using on sore joints. So it's really a very versatile recipe that you can use on almost anything. You can mix it up however you like. Trying to think here if there's anything else I need to tell y'all. Other than making sure that your ingredients are pure. Now when you're making your oils like this, like the lavender, I picked it and then cleaned it and dehydrated it first. You want to dehydrate it. Don't put fresh flowers or anything like that off of your plants in here because of the moisture in them. It will make the oil go rancid. You want to dehydrate them first. And all you have to do with those is fill your jar most of the way up with the, like the lavender, or even the chamomile, any of them, even the plantain or any of that. Just fill your jar most of the way up with what you're wanting to infuse into your oil, and then put your oil in. Now I just use olive oil. You can use other oils. Nut oils, on the other hand, have a tendency to go rancid quicker, so it won't last as long. They're good for your skin, but they don't last as long. They will go rancid much quicker. But just make sure whatever you're infusing in here is completely covered with the oil. And there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can let it set in the oil for, I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. Or you can actually put this in a double boiler, pan of water, and turn it on a very, very low heat. And let it set there for about a good half hour or so. And then once you take it out of that, let it set for maybe a day or so. And it'll be good to go. Alright. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you try this recipe. And I'll be taking a bunch of these with me to the picnic in Kentucky. So I would imagine everybody will be getting a few of them. But at any rate, I'm going to let you go. I'll talk to y'all later on. Thank you very much for watching, and God bless all of you.